You can tell I don't do part 1, part 2, part 3 of these videos. Okay, anyway, it's just a reflection since a couple of days ago, reflecting of, you know, is it far enough? Or, oh, maybe I'll get a director one of these days. You know, I like to, this is the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. And it was because of them that I end up here in Fredericton 15 years ago. I walked through these doors behind me 16 years ago, 2002, because I used to work for a company called Gulf Operators. Gulf Operators, J.K. Irving himself sent me to Gulf Operators, and it was the worst mistake the Irvings and myself ever made in this non-unionized, biased, and I say racist company. I mean, you got a supervisor that said, hey, how come the blacks, how come the states got the blacks and we got the frogs? They had first choice. I'm not sure, I think that's racism, but never mind that. So it was a period that I found out I had ADHD. I just found out. I was happy. I knew there was something wrong with me, but I didn't know what the hell it was. And I'm not on a mental disability. I could have pushed for it. A lot of 95% of the bureaucrats and the city would say that I'm nuts. But I know you don't have to be nuts to have a disability. Just you can't follow the so-called normal way of life. So, what happened? I thought I could put in my form 15 years ago. I could put in my form, you know, I have my application. I have ADHD. That would say, what? You're one of them? Oh my God, come on, let's go. But make a long story short, there was problems. They wouldn't train me properly. The ombudsman, Bernard Richard, used to be right next door here. The ombudsman office, no longer there. I wonder what's in there now. Distraction. What happened is the Irvings management sent a letter to the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission and said, since Charles LeBlanc told us during the job interview that he had ADHD and he was on Ritalin, therefore, he was limited to what he could do. He was placed on the job limitation program because of his mental disability. Now, I was surprised to hear that. So when I walk in here, so what they did, a decision held behind closed doors between members, and they said, yes, people with ADHD are limited. They're close to mental retardation. So I show up here 16 years ago. Christian Whalen, look at that, huh? I sat down in a room with him. How did you come to the decision of people with ADHD are limited to what they could do? He says, well, you don't like it? Bring us to court. So this is the, and Christian Whalen was in the future worked for the child advocate. Oh, what a bunch. Youth child advocate. There he is, making fun or saying, oh, people with ADHD, and then he go worse for the child advocate. What a system. Anyway, never mind that. So then my focus 16 years ago was this bunch here that I call racist because they support, I guess, the Irvings. But what are these people doing here? I mean, I remember the decision was coming out 15 years ago. Carl White, former deputy mayor, a black guy from St. John. Oh, maybe he'll hold it against him because he's black. I'm not a racist, that's for damn sure. Anyway, I was supposed to meet with Carl White on a Friday in his office. Next thing you know, he's not there for the decision to come out. Next thing you know, he's not, so I called his house. He was the deputy mayor at the time. I said, Carl, did that decision come out, New Brunswick Human Rights Commission? Don't ever call my house again. Boom! He hung up on me. Hung up on the Scotchman. That really hurt my feeling. Then I started to investigate this Carl White. Carl White, in the 1990s, was convicted in a court of law. Oh, I can't talk about that. There'll be racism. He was convicted in the court of law from stealing from Stresscon, a nerving company. His life was going down, down, down. Somebody grabbed him and put him on the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. The only caseworker in the southern part of the province that's a convicted thief. Now, we're wondering how come there hasn't been no human rights complaint against the Irvings or other big companies. The only one caseworker in the southern part of the province, and he's a convicted thief. Not going to mention no back pocket, stuff like that, but anyway, come to your own conclusion. Okay, but never mind that. He tried to run for provincial politics. I put a stop to that pretty quick. Federal also. Anyway, but he treated me like shit. I returned the favor. Let's go back to this, to these clowns. Gordon Porter. They put him in the Human Rights Commission. Gordon Porter. Then next thing you know, they get appointed. They have on the resume, New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. And next thing you know, they have the right to fight for inclusion. And we know how inclusion works here in New Brunswick. Not good. But there hasn't been a tribunal, a hearing of the New Brunswick, of any case in New Brunswick for about 30 years. I think the biggest one was the UNB canceling the women hockey team. UNB canceling the UNB hockey team. That's human rights. There's so much. I put a complaint in the last. It's funny how I walked through these doors 15 years ago, complaining about Ritland, and next thing you know, the police. And my battle with the cops and my battle in the justice system started. I never knew nothing about the justice system. I went to the commission. They said that humans, the less fortunate, if you're charged with a summary, they will not give you a lawyer. You're in the mercy of these snobs in the courts. So what I did, I put a complaint to the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. Guess what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This new guy, what's his name? Randy Dickerson, guy in the wheelchair. Show up there. Oh, talk. Holy Jesus, he talks more than me. How long this tape is? Anyway, this is just a memory. Going down memory lane. But talk about the poor, talks a lot, but talks about nothing. So I said, listen, why don't the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission suggest to the government that they build a provincial jail in Fredericton, near Fredericton, so the poor, the natives, people with mental illness, they'll be treated at least, they'll be closer to home. Here, but no, Human Rights Commission, yeah, they can't be bothered. But you hear this tribunal in Nova Scotia, in Prince Edward Island, but you never hear nothing here. Absolutely nothing. So, 15 years has passed since I show up and I was upset. What have changed? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, if you're gay, walk in there. But, I mean, okay, more power to the gay people. But there hasn't been nothing. No tribunal. So who are these people 15 years later? What are these people supposed to be doing? I think these people, high-paying jobs, God knows, I mean, look at the waste of money. Human Rights Commission, Language Commissioner, I mean, Ombudsman, no, we need the Ombudsman. He went up a notch, he's 60% useless. But anyway, that's between me and somebody. But these people behind me in that building, high-paying salary, all they are is protectors of the government. They're making the government look good by having New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. That's all it is the protectors of the government. Protectors of ordinary New Brunswickers, ça existe pas. It doesn't exist. It's sad.